Once upon a time, an extremely rare Taino priestess was born of her patriarchal angelic bloodline, the Royal Rebels tribe. When she was just a toddler, she was adopted by her abusive, drunkard stepfather with her demonic, covert narcissist, karmic mother. Ever since she was accidentally informed of the adoption at around 8 years old, a persistent urge has grown within her, compelling her to seek out the truth and pre-adoption birth records by applying to the Registry of Vital Records and Statistics. Though the specifics of the many hidden truths in the family's past remain somewhat murky, they persist, haunting like skeletons hidden in the closets of grand mansions that serve as doors to the mind, tangled with the twisted roots of withered family trees. The girl was appointed the adoptive name of Jackie Rose. Jackie, as an incarnated earth angel, was a child marked by both her gifts and her burdens. Her family over time would come to see her as the black sheep, the scapegoat blamed for every misstep and failure. This is a common role in dysfunctional families, where one member, often unfairly, is singled out as the source of shame, stigmatization, and problems. Jackie, with all her potential, was seen as different, undesirable, and a constant source of conflict. As she grew older, Jackie shed the name that had been given to her, transforming her higher self into Gyps, Jinx, Nyx, the part of us connected to a divine source representing an infinite well of intelligence and wisdom, transcending the limitations of our ego and physical body, an evolution that reflected the chaos and alienation she had faced throughout her life and childhood. In this new form, she became more than just a victim of her circumstances. The name change marked a shift in her identity, forged by her rejection and mistreatment. Our story is one of survival and adaptation, shaped by the emotional weight of being labeled the troublemaker in a family society that refused or could not understand the true essence. The experience of being a scapegoat in a family dynamic left deep scars, but it also pushed Gyps to discover her strength and resilience. This is the Heroes and Villains origin story, a journey from being misunderstood and demonized to embracing unique power and learning how to reclaim the narrative. Jinx's behavior is a reflection of her trauma. The memories haunt her and she experiences flashbacks. PTSD can explain both her psychosis and her violence, and there is significant discussion among fans and psychologists about Jinx's mental health issues. Many suggest she exhibits symptoms consistent with borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and/or schizophrenia, based on her behavior throughout the series. Unlike most societies, a backward character like the Heyoka was accepted and praised in the tribe community, mainly because of the belief that they were chosen by the Thunderbird in their dreams, signifying a special spiritual connection and granting them the role of a sacred clown with the freedom to act contrary to societal norms, often seen as a necessary force for balance and disruption. Being raised in a traumatic, toxic upbringing or childhood includes various forms of abuse, emotional neglect, and significant stress, deeply impacting brain development and future mental health, shaping behaviors and relationships as adults. This type of upbringing creates drastic consequences for growth and development. As part of an assignment for a previous Human Services practicum class, we explored the book What Happened to You by Dr. Bruce D. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. This reflection regarded Chapter 3, How We Were Loved. The chapter brought up so much for us from our childhood and reflecting on our children's childhoods. There is an emphasis on understanding what happened to you, instead of simply asking, what's wrong with you? Intergenerational trauma becomes a plaque labeled as a generational curse, with effects passed down through generations. Understanding the importance of identifying the root cause, what happened to you, emphasizes looking beyond surface behaviors. Join us in our latest book club podcast episodes as we continue our journey of healing and growth, discover powerful trauma healing tools, and hear inspiring stories of transformation. Back to our story. Lucia Lilith, the unconscious embodiment of the shadow self, was jolted by the haunting return of her paternal to the supernal when she was around 12 years old. Without his presence, the earth was no longer one of nurturing, but a reminder of constant betrayal and death, a dark echo that reverberated in her very essence and shaped her existence. In the wake of that revelation, anger, once a mere echo, began to take on a more visceral form. It began taking root, growing out of a place of pain, born from the ashes and tears of sadness, becoming its unwavering protector. In Lucia's fractured psyche, sadness could not survive without the chaos anger unleashed. This was the moment when everything shifted. Her childhood became a blur of survival, always running, always hiding. Exposure to trauma can cause what is labeled as oppositional defiant disorder, ODD, and impact a child's ability to regulate their emotions and behavior. As a preteen runaway, she was no longer just a victim of neglect. Society labeled her a juvenile delinquent. But the truth was far more complicated. They were a product of abuse that evolved in forms no one had the language to describe, an abuse so insidious it redefined her identity. From one foster home to the next, from group homes to cold basements and dark closets, she learned the rhythm of danger and how to anticipate it before it ever arrived. In each new place, there was a whispered warning, a cruel familiarity, the sinister sound of when evil calls your name. It was not a single event, but a lifelong echo, reverberating in her bones, reminding her that survival meant something far more dangerous than mere endurance. It meant adapting to the unspoken rules of a world that didn't care whether she lived or died, perhaps even actually wanting her dead. The darkness she carried within had become part of her. Could she ever break free of it? Or was she destined to become the very thing so many feared as she had once? Drifting and shape-shifting as a wandering soul that had left the body and a person searching for meaning in life. Only upon completion of the integration initiation of Orient Eponry begins the activation of the rare power to create or erase, akin to primordial beings. In Yoruba spirituality, Ori represents a person's personal consciousness or inner essence, guiding their actions and life path, while Eponry is the higher self or divine part, connected to the cosmic and spiritual essence. Ori is the earthly self, and Eponry is the spiritual blueprint. Aligning the two through practices like divination and meditation brings clarity, purpose, and fulfillment, ensuring one's life aligns with their higher destiny. Once the emergence of the angelic, demonic identities takes control of their body and causes memory loss. These identities battle for dominance, and only by finding balance can the LaNephalemia subdue the disorder, be exalted, and promoted, assigned with a revised name of unification. Sophia Dantalion, by the law of one. Self-connecting while recalibrating, their totality in its entirety, as above, below, and in between for promotion up and out of the matrix stream. Choosing sides, angel or demon, turns them into enemies of the opposite side, but they can stay neutral. Feared across realms, no one has seen LaNephalemia, but Deftway. They're called ultimate judgment by deities and the boogeyman by fairies. Even monsters claim one resides in purgatory.